Hello, and thank you all for joining us. I'm going to give it just a couple moments uh, so others can have time to join. Thank you so much for being here, for showing up on time, and we'll get started very shortly. Okay, excellent. I think we're going to go ahead and begin. Hello, everyone. Good evening, or good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are. I'd like to welcome you to the International College Options Virtual College Fair. We're really excited. We have a great lineup of colleges and universities here to share opportunities with their institutions. So you're definitely in for a treat. Um, Before we begin, I do have some housekeeping things that I'd like to go over. So first off, your camera and microphone are off. You're muted, your video's off, so our panelists cannot see or hear you, but they definitely want to hear from you. So you may be wondering, well, how do I ask questions? Well, we want you to use the Q&A button to type your questions to the presenters, and you can do this at any time. There's not a designated Q&A portion, so you can ask questions at any point. And you'll find that little Q&A icon that's in the control panel on your Zoom. It's usually in the bottom of the screen, but it might be elsewhere for you. Our reps definitely want to hear your questions. Do not be shy. Ask all the questions that you want. And yeah, just definitely, engage. That's what they're here for. Next, don't forget to attend the breakout sessions. So this is part one of today's fair, and you should have received an email that gives you a link to an additional breakout session. So we highly encourage you to attend that breakout session after this. The session is being recorded, and all recordings will be available at strivescan.com/ICO. And that's all my housekeeping things. So I'd like to first introduce Nancy Davis from International College Options.
Thank you, Vanessa. Welcome to the ICO Virtual College Fair, and thank you all for attending. I'm Nancy Davis, and I'm the treasurer of ICO, and I am based in the Chicago area. International College Options started in 2013, and our goal was to help educate high school college counselors, high school students, and their families about opportunities for U.S. students to earn their bachelor's degree abroad. We're a nonprofit organization with a volunteer board of current and former high school counselors. And every November, during International Education Week, we typically host college fairs and high school counselor luncheons in several cities around the U.S. This year, due to the pandemic, we're hosting our virtual fair for the first time. And we're excited to have you here as participants, but also we're very grateful to the 76 institutions from 18 different countries that joined us both last night and tonight. Each year, ICO produces a PDF booklet that includes information about the benefits of studying abroad, information about different countries, and detailed information about each one of our partner institutions. So I'm going to take a second and give you a link in the chat. This will allow you to explore this information later at a time that's convenient to you. So let me put it there. Tonight you're going to hear from each of the institutions participating in this session for about 6 minutes each. At the same time, there are other sessions going on. As these sessions end, we want you to connect individually with the institutions that are involved. So I'm going to, as soon as I'm done speaking, post a second PDF in the chat that has that link to the individual rooms for you to join the reps in conversation. So from 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight, you go to that link and you can speak with institutions directly. Feel free to visit multiple institutions using those links. We'll be sending out a survey to you within the next couple weeks, and we really hope that you'll provide us some feedback so that we can improve our events in future years. So thank you for being here with us tonight. And now I'm very happy to introduce our first speaker, Dillon DiCicco from Concordia University. Sorry, Dillon.
You're good. That's totally fine. Hello, everyone. So I am Dylan, and I am the recruiter or one of the recruiters for Concordia University in Montreal, Canada. While I quickly share my screen, I just want to let you know that I'm currently covering for one of my coworkers who's going to be away for the next few weeks, maybe up to the month. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, but it might be both of us who will answer you back. But I did used to recruit in the US, and I've spent the last year living in Texas, so I do have a lot of experience in the United States. Okay, so first of all, Montreal. So it's actually the #1 student city in North America. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Montreal first before getting into the university. So one of the things that, we're first city in North America, #1 student city, and then we're sixth in the world. But there's a lot of things that make us really top notch when it comes to living as a student. So our rent is very affordable. In terms of public transportation, it's very easy to get around, and we have a lot of universities in the city, most of them French, that do bring in a lot of students every year. So you really do get this big student vibe constantly around you. Part of the reason why I actually decided to go and study at Concordia was because of Montreal. Because in Canada, pretty much any school that you go to, you're going to get a very similar education. You really get to play around with which schools really suit your liking. At Concordia, we have 4 major faculties. We have the Faculty of Arts and Science, Engineering, Computer Science, Business, and Fine Arts. I graduated from the Fine Arts program, so that's where my specialties lie. And we have a total population of 47,000 students, 37,000 of which are undergraduate, and 21, and almost a half of them are international. So even though we are a large school, about 75% of our classes are 60 students or less. And we really make sure that pretty much every single program that you go into, you're going to be starting off going right into the labs or into the studio spaces. So we do offer you theory, but if you're doing courses like biology, chemistry, or engineering, you're going to be taking theory at the same time that you're going to be going right into these spaces. So you get to learn firsthand right off the bat. We have 2 different campuses. So our downtown campus, Sir George Williams, is right in Montreal. So the little blue square with the white triangle, that's our Geek Concordia metro station. Most of these buildings here that have the red triangles, which are all part of Concordia, are connected by a tunnel system. So in the winter time, because Montreal can be known for its rough winters, you can take the metro right to campus and stay inside the entire day. The metro station actually connects you like just one station over. It actually connects you to the largest underground city in North America. So you can really get the full experience of living in a city, but underground when the weather does get cold. I should mention that at our downtown campus is where we have our business, engineering, and fine arts and humanities. Where our Loyola campus, it's a little more self-contained. It's about 7 kilometers to the west of our downtown campus. And this is where we have all of our human sciences, so chemistry, biology, exercise science. And then we also have our journalism and communications. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, this is where we will have our sports. So we do have quite a lot of varsity sports available for students, and they will all take place over here. We do have some amazing spaces. So at our downtown campus, especially because we are a very urban campus, sometimes students are worried that they're not going to be able to have all these amazing spaces available to them. But we have a greenhouse that's open for students to use. We have these beautiful reading rooms in historic buildings. So there's lots to explore when you're on our campus. I kind of mentioned this a little bit, but we really want our students to learn by experiencing. So again, you're going to be in your labs and studio spaces in your first year. We have a lot of opportunities for volunteer work. If you want to study abroad, you pay Quebec or Concordia tuition fees while you are studying at a different university. And we have really strong co-op programs. So it's basically a way for you to work and study at the same time. And this can be very good for students that are looking to go on to either working in their field, which I'm assuming is what you want to do, or if you want to make a Montreal connection, work in the field of Montreal. I should quickly say that with the Canadian study visa, you can actually stay in Canada for up to 3 years after you graduate. So if you want to stick around, spend some more time in Montreal, or I actually have a couple friends that came up from the States and they got their citizenship. So it is possible to do. This is the general admission that we have for our programs. I'm not going to go into it right now, but if you would like to take a screenshot, you're more than welcome to, of course. And then if you want to see me afterwards, we can chat about your specific program of interest. But one thing that's really great is that when you apply to Concordia for the majority of our programs, I would say about like 99%, we don't ask for any kind of college essay. And then for all of our programs, we don't look at ACTs or SATs. We're really just looking at your transcripts. And then this is the general fee breakdown. So if you have French citizenship or if you have Canadian dual citizenship, you're going to fall in the middle category. Otherwise, the international is going to be on the right, and that's all Canadian dollar. The application process, again, is pretty straightforward. We're not on the Common App, so you have to go to our website, you pay the application fee, and then you can pick up the 3 strategic choices. You want to upload all of your documents that you need, and then the deadline is going to be on March 1st, but preferably for February 1st for international. And if you would like to keep in touch, please follow our social media handles, and you can always send me an email with this email at the bottom. I look forward to speaking with any of you after the presentations.
I think you're muted, Vanessa.
Sorry about that. Next up, we have King's College London, who just saved me. Thank you. Go ahead, Ashley.
No problem. Thanks. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining this evening. Welcome to our session. Bear with me one second while I pull up my slides here. All right. So I trust that everyone can see that, hopefully. But again, my name is Ashley Monahan. I am an international student recruitment manager for King's College London, based in the States. There is a QR code if you are interested in getting some more information about King's, but I will be able to put my contact information in the chat at the end of the session. So away we go. With a slight delay. There we go. All right, so King's is, well, we're coming up on our 200th anniversary in just a couple of years here. We were founded in 1829 as one of the founding colleges of the University of London. We are the 4th oldest university in England, founded by King George IV and the Duke of Wellington, who was the Prime Minister at the time. Today, we are a Russell Group institution, which means we are committed to research. We are one of 24 public research universities in the UK that make up the Russell Group, which is sort of similar to the Ivy League. It's not a direct translation, but just know that any of the Russell Group universities in the UK are going to be dedicated to producing a lot of research. And we are ranked. So if rankings are important to you, and they are to a lot of people, I would encourage you to look into the different criteria that goes into certain rankings, like, for example, the QS World University Rankings for 2022, who named us or numbered us number 35 in the world, number 7 in the UK, and number 3 in London, which we are quite proud of. And because of all of this, and then some, which I'll talk about in a minute, 93% of our graduates are in employment or are furthering their education upon graduating from King. So if we can put that return on investment as a number or a percentage in terms of what you would be getting into upon graduation, we are proud to be able to offer quite a high percentage, which is very important for you to know going into this process. And then let's talk a little bit about the campus community at King. So we are a large urban campus of 36,000 students, 16,000 of whom are international, representing 185 countries around the globe. So we are a very diverse, multicultural campus community, and we like to think of ourselves as being very reflective of the diversity of London itself. We have about 1,200 students joining us every year from the US, about a few hundred more, so making up about 1,500 from North America, which is actually quite a large representation of our international population on campus. And then over 10,000 alumni from North America around the globe. So that means you have this global alumni network to rely on upon graduating from King's, which is something for you to lean on for opportunities, for guidance, and hopefully you as an alum can give back to future King's generations as well. Following up on, or just, I guess, continuing on with the community at King's, we have a very active students union. It's the oldest in the UK, and we have dozens of academic associations, networks, activity groups, and societies, ways for you to get involved on campus and give back to the community while expanding your own social, academic, professional network. Sports clubs, a little bit different from how they would be experienced in North America. They are more intramural, not as competitive, but a way for you to still practice something that you did back home. And then hundreds of events throughout the year, such as Welcome Week, as just one example that is put on through our Students Union. So a lot of ways for you to get involved on campus outside of your academics, which I promise you are going to take up a lot of your time. Not to mention exploring the city of London, which is a very large city. If you have not heard, there's about 9 million people in London. It's the capital of the UK. There are about 500,000 students in 50 universities around the city. And it has been voted once again as the #1 best student city because of all the resources that it provides its student population, which is quite unique for a city that size to cater to a student population like that. There is a very comprehensive public transportation system in London, 5 international airports. What that means for you is London is an international travel hub. You have opportunities to explore the rest of the country, to go to other parts of Europe, as well as the rest of the world, all right there, just a stone's throw away from the center of the city. And fun fact, even though I've mentioned all of this and made it sound like a concrete jungle, 40% of London is green space, which kind of helps you feel a little bit more, I guess, like a bigger fish in a smaller pond, if that's possible. And I always like to mention that to students. And then this sort of gives a comparison of London, or excuse me, King's Place within London. So this bird's eye view of our campuses. We have 5 of them across the center of the city, as you can see marked in red, along with one of our libraries. And then we have a dozen residence halls also in the center of the city. We guarantee accommodation for first-year students, and every room is a single occupancy, so you will be selecting your own room, which I always think is a huge selling point, and probably would have made my decision-making process a little bit different back in the day. But this just kind of lends itself to this very enriching living and learning experience right in the heart of one of the busiest and most multicultural cities in the world. So that's very exciting. And I promise we do have academics. You will have to study. As you can see here on the slide, we have 9 faculties, 175 programs within them. Popular programs amongst our US and North American students are arts and humanities, law, psychiatry, psychology, neuroscience, social sciences. Our most popular programs or most competitive programs are those within life sciences and medicine, which has our undergraduate medicine program. Business is always popular. Natural and math sciences is actually now natural, maths, and engineering sciences, because engineering has completely grown in popularity. That's also the home to the computer science program at King's. We do accept FAFSA, and if you are at all interested in any UK university, I know we have at least one other one on here tonight, you are going to want to familiarize yourself with UCAS, which is the Universities and Colleges Admissions Service. I won't go into full detail about UCAS. You will probably hear it a lot, but it's basically the central body that administers undergraduate applications in the UK. You have up to 5 program choices, but only 1 personal statement for all of those program choices. And the application window is your final year of high school. September through January is the application portal window. Just to really quickly wrap it up, and again, briefly talk about our undergraduate entry requirements. If you are submitting APs, SAT, ACT, which most students are, you can basically choose one of 3 routes, 5 APs or 3 APs and the SAT, or 3 APs and the ACT. We accept the IB, the French baccalaureate, so you have a lot of options. Check the program page for specific subject requirements. And that is it for me, but as I mentioned, my name's Ashley and I'll put my contact details in the chat. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much to King's College London. Moving right along, our next school is Abertay University.
Great, thanks very much. And I will just go ahead and share my screen. As I said, we are from Abertay University. My name is Beth Meehan. It is about 12:20 in the evening. I am actually here in Scotland. So you'll excuse me if I'm a bit slow on things, but I'll try and get this up and running for you. Okay, hopefully you can see that now. That's all up and running for you. Okay, so my name is Beth Meehan and I am from Abertay University in Dundee, Scotland. We are the home of the UK Centre for Excellence in Computer Games Studies and also for cybersecurity. So I'll take you through briefly some of our programs this evening, and also in terms of the basics of some of the courses that we offer. So firstly, I'm going to take you through a bit of Scotland. So as you can see from the map here, just so you know where we're located, Dundee is a city on the east coast of Scotland. And obviously Scotland is a country to the north of England. So we've gone from England to Scotland now. And looking at Dundee itself, so we are a small city of approximately 150,000 people. About 40,000 of those during the school year are students. So we have 2 universities within the city. As I said before, we are on the east coast of Scotland. And we are a creative, compact, and cultured city. So we were the UK's first UNESCO City of Design, and most recently we have been awarded and we have built the Victoria and Albert Museum of Design, which is the only Victoria and Albert Museum outside of London. It sits on the River Tay, as you can see here. A couple of things to mention that make Dundee and Abertay quite special. We are the 5G hub for Scotland, which is an innovation and development centre for 5G technology for across Scotland. We are in the midst of building an esports arena, which will be seat approximately 8,000 people. So we will be a centre for esports within the UK. And as well, we are in the process of completing our cyber quarter, which again will be a hub for development and innovation for cybersecurity for the entire UK. A beautiful location to study. Dundee sits on the River Tay, which is backed by hills. There's the river itself, and the river leads out to the sea. So we have dolphins and a lovely beach in the city itself. So a little bit about Abertay. It is one of the smallest universities in Scotland. Our total population of students is about 4,500. So generally, this type of student that comes to us are students who are quite interested in having a much more personal experience of knowing the names of their lecturers, being able to sort of fit in quite quickly to classes, and getting to know their classmates. It's really, really good for international students to be able to integrate a lot easier because they do have that access to smaller class sizes. Our campus itself is in the city center of Dundee, and all of our residence halls, all of our dormitories are within a 5-minute walk of the main buildings of campus. As I mentioned before, it's a very student-friendly city, and we do have a dedicated international team for each region for our international students to connect with so that we can help guide them. We can help guide our counselors and our teachers on what the specific needs are for those students and help them through the process to arrive at Abertay. So the general areas that we work upon. As I said, we are quite a small university, so we are very focused in what we offer. We have 3 schools within the university. So we have our School of Business Law and Social Sciences, our School of Science and Engineering, and then also our School of Design and Informatics. I'm going to be focusing largely on our School of Design and Informatics, which houses computing, cybersecurity, ethical hacking, and our computer games degrees. This is because 90% of our American student population come to us for these degrees. So I'll take you through why that is. So firstly, our computer games program. So the reason why we are so well known is that we are the first university in the world to offer games degrees. And we began this back in 1997. We now offer 4 undergraduate degrees and 2 postgraduate degrees. So it is very specialized. If you have students that are interested in physics, maths, and programming side of games, then the two majors that are most popular are computer games technology and computer games applications development. These lead on to a master's in computer games technology. If you have students that are interested in the art and design side, then we offer a degree in computer arts. And if you have students who are undecided, and this is our top program for American students and has been for the last 5 years, we offer the BA in games design and production. And the reason why this is the most popular route with our American students is that it offers a chance to stream into one of the 3 major areas of games in your 3rd year. So it gives you the first 2 years of very general education in games, and then allows you in your 3rd year to choose either programming, computer art, or sound and music. And we have a fully fledged sound and music recording studio to help support in that. This leads on to a professional master's in games development, which is a 1-year add-on program. We've been the #1 games university in Europe for the last 7 years, according to the Princeton Review, and we've been consistently top 15, top 10 program within worldwide for the last 7 years as well.
Excellent. Abertay, would you mind maybe wrapping up your last slide? I think we're about out of time.
Sure, no problem. So in terms of our second program, we focus on ethical hacking and cybersecurity. So these are 2 distinct programs, one focusing on the proactive side and one focusing on the software development. And again, these are our two most popular courses for American students. So entry requirements, very general here. I can take you through those if you want to talk later in our meeting. And I can take you through, again, tuition fees in general, approximately $15,500, as well as accommodation that is within a 5-minute walk from campus. Lots of student support available, and again, can take you through that a bit later. So that's me. If you like to keep in touch, please do drop me a line. Happy to answer any questions, and sorry for running over.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have the American University of Rome in Italy.
Thank you very much. Give me 2 seconds to share my screen. All righty. Awesome. So hopefully you can see, you can hear me, everything's working great. My name is Kate Huseman. I am the Assistant Director for U.S. Admissions for the American University of Rome, located over in Italy. So a little bit about us. We are the oldest U.S. degree granting institution in Rome, founded in 1969. We are a fully accredited U.S. institution. All of our bachelor's degrees are taught entirely in English, and you don't need any Italian to get in. We are a very tight-knit community of about 500 learners spread out among 10 majors with a very small average class size. No surprise with that small student body number. But despite our small size, we're a very diverse group of learners. We've got 40 nationalities represented and 28 languages spoken on campus. So even though it is the American University of Rome, it very much is an international education experience at AUR. So why study abroad and why study abroad in Italy? So study abroad has proven to really increase students' abilities to find employment after graduation. So 97% of study abroad students find employment within 6 months of graduation. I'm sorry, within 12 months of graduation, compared to only about 50% of their peers. So it definitely is a really wonderful thing to have on your resume, kind of a gold star, something to set you apart. And the world is really big, right? So why should you go to Italy instead of somewhere else? So lots of reasons. For one, Italy is a much more affordable country to live in than a lot of other like EU competitors. For example, in Rome, our students' average living expenses are only about $700 to $1,300 a month, including everything, housing, food, transportation, et cetera. Obviously depends on the way you live, but it's definitely a very affordable option when compared to some other larger cities in Europe. And then also Rome is really well situated. Not only can you like bop to Paris, bop to London, but you can actually, go to Morocco for the weekend really easily as well. Italy has 55 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, which is more than any other country. So it has a lot to offer in terms of history, but also, art and fashion and food. There's just a lot to see, a lot to do, a lot to appreciate. And there are a lot of students studying there. So it's a great place to do your education. So if you're going to come to Italy, obviously, I think you should come to the American University of Rome. So let me tell you a little bit about our academics. Like I said, we have 10 majors. These are our bachelor's degrees listed here on the left-hand side. Some of our more popular programs are in business administration, international relations, and global politics. Some of our, I like to say like cooler programs are archaeology and classics, just because, what better place in the world is there to study that discipline than in ancient Rome? So that's a really popular one where students can, go literally to the Colosseum as part of their class and have their class right there in the middle of the Colosseum. So that's really cool for our students. Also, travel and tourism management is our newest program. All of our programs are really wonderful. You can see them all listed there. At the core of the American University of Rome is experiential learning, and we do this kind of in many different ways by bringing guest lecturers onto our campus. We're really fortunate that Rome is such an international destination for so many awesome people, so we can invite them to come and speak to our students, and usually they're very happy to come to the American University of Rome and chat. We also do on-site classes, like I said, specifically archaeology and classics students, they get to go to all the different monuments and sites, but not only in that discipline. For example, even our business administration students, like they got to visit the Fendi headquarters as part of business of fashion. And so there's a lot of opportunities to kind of get off campus into the heart of Rome or into the countryside of Italy to do some experiential hands-on learning. We do academic field trips on our weekends. One of the ones that I like to talk about is the production of olive oil. It's a 1-credit class where students go into the countryside, visit a couple of different olive groves, and learn all about how, olive oil is produced in Italy. So lots of opportunities to kind of, see Italy, but also get a credit at the same time. So those are really popular with our students as well. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about student life. So at the American University of Rome, I always talk about our student life as being kind of like a marriage between a US student experience and an EU student experience. We have clubs, we've got sports, we do field trips, even like fun field trips like shopping trips and things like that. Lots of like, cultural events, language exchanges, plenty of things to do. We have student support services as like an on-campus doctor, mental health counseling services, all entirely in English. And also res grads, which are peer mentors, like upperclassmen students who are there to help you adjust to your new life in Rome. The difference that most students find is that our campus is not a residential campus. So the way we do our housing is independent apartment style living located off campus, about a 10 to 15 minute walk, depending on which building you're in. And students are responsible for, doing their own grocery shopping, cooking for themselves, all those sorts of things. So it's a definitely more independent style of living. I always tell my students, you're living in Rome and you're attending the American University of Rome. So if that sounds cool, just real quick, I'll go over some of the quick admissions processes. On the left, you'll see our required documentation, nothing out of the blue. We're totally test optional. We do interview each one of our students. You'll also see our next application deadline is February 1st. We also offer independent study abroad programming similar to gap years. And then in terms of scholarship and aid, we do have merit and need-based aid. We're FAFSA eligible, and you can see our tuition and fees and housing expenses down at the bottom there. So if that sounds interesting, you can send me an email. You can follow us on social, scan that QR code, or pop into my individual Zoom room at the top of the hour, which we're getting to fairly closely. So thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I do see a question in the chat, and I was wondering if Nancy Davis from International College Options would be able to jump
Hi,
in the chat to respond.
let me get back to my seat.
All right. Thank you, Nancy. Next up, we have Study in Wales.
Thanks for that. Okay, bear with me everyone while I try. I'm on one screen and this is always difficult. Awesome, so hopefully you can see my presentation. So hi everyone, I'm Rob, I am from Study in Wales, and we are an organisation that represents all 8 universities here in Wales. So I have the difficult task of talking to you about all of them. Bear with me. So first of all, let's start with where is Wales? So we are on the island of Great Britain. You've heard from my colleague Beth up in Scotland, Ashley in England, and we are that red dot there to the west of England. We're just slightly larger than the US state of Vermont in size. We are part of the United Kingdom. We have our own government system though. Our weather is very similar to the rest of the UK. It's seasonal. We've got average temperatures of about 10 C or 50 Fahrenheit in winter, 21 C or 68 Fahrenheit in summer. But what sets us apart from other areas is that we do boast some of the lowest living costs in the UK, and I'll talk about that a bit later. We've got regular flights to Europe and the US from Cardiff, but you can also fly from Manchester, Birmingham and London, all really close. So it's about 7 hours to the West Coast, excuse me, 7 hours to the East Coast, sorry, and about 10 hours to the West Coast. And we've put on there a little bit about how easy it is to get around the rest of England or the UK. So from South Wales, you can get to London in about 2 hours. And then from North Wales, where we've got some universities, you can get to London in about 3 hours. So I really like to show off these kind of landscape pictures of Wales really in a nutshell. So when you come to study in Wales, it really is a start of an epic journey, really. You can immerse yourself in this Game of Thronesy, folksy kind of landscape that you can see on that picture on the left. We've got ancient landscapes, we've got national parks, we've got 4 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, not quite as many as Italy have got, but you never know, we might eventually catch up. We've got our own distinct history as well, our own culture, and even our own language here in Wales, but don't worry, everybody does speak English, as you can tell from what I'm speaking. You're never more than an hour to the beach, about an hour to a national park or a different peak to climb. And it's not only that, our cities are bustling and cosmopolitan. We're not as big as London, we're not as big as Manchester in our big cities, but there is always things going on. So you've got music festivals, you've got sports stadiums, you've got really thriving food scenes. Wales has its own unique food scene, its own national dishes. And also Wales is diverse and welcoming. We're not kind of like that British stiff upper lip. We are a little bit more welcoming. And by coming to Wales, you really do get made part of the family. So on to the 8 universities. I'm just going to leave this slide up there really briefly. I'm not going to talk about any of them in turn because I don't want to be seen favoriting one over the other, but we do have a wide range of universities here in Wales. So we've got Cardiff University, which is part of the Russell Group, same alongside King's College University. And then we've also got Bangor, Aberystwyth, Swansea, Cardiff Met, University of South Wales, Wrexham, Glyndŵr, and University of Wales Trinity St David, who are celebrating their 200-year anniversary this year. So our universities here do go back to nearly as old as America. And that's the kind of like how ingrained education is here in Wales and how long our universities have really been around. So what can you expect in Wales and our majors? So we're similar to the English system in that it's 3 years to get a bachelor's. and it's 1 year to get a master's. And we offer 3 different types of degrees. So we've got a Bachelor of Arts, a Bachelor of Science, and a Bachelor's of Engineering. And we've got the standard degrees, so we do the things like business, we've got things like history, politics, but we also have some like slightly weird and quirky ones. So we offer a Bachelor of Arts in Comics, a Bachelor of Science in Equine Studies, and a Bachelor of Engineering in Motorsports Engineering. And they're just a couple that I pulled out just to show that really you can study anything in Wales, whatever course or whatever major you're interested in, we'll probably offer it at one of our universities here in Wales. So what to expect in regards to entry requirements. So like I said, it's 3 years to get a degree. So you choose your major on applying, and there's no general education. 1 year for a master's as well is something really important to reiterate. And you get direct entry onto professional programs. So medicine and dentistry are longer. They're not 3 years, unfortunately, they are 5 years, but you can do them from undergraduate. And law is a 3-year degree. So that's another professional major, which in the US you'd have to study pre-law and then do additional courses. You can do that in 3 years here and sit additional exams to then get called up to become a solicitor or barrister in the UK. And it is recognised, the UK law degree is recognised in some states as well. Entry requirements. So you can apply through UCAS, Common App, or direct to the university. And you know what you need to get a place. We're open and transparent. So typically it's a high school diploma, SAT and or APs. And because of COVID, we have moved to being a lot more test flexible. We do require a personal statement. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. So if you do want to know about personal statements on applying to a UK or Welsh university, then pop by my room when we get there in the next hour. And also what's worth reiterating is that we don't consider class rankings. So tuition fees, they start about $15,000. All our universities are public. I'd say the cost of studying is around 35 grand per year here, including fees. Our universities are FAFSA housing. Ashley said this, our universities do have their own rooms. You don't share a dorm, and quality of life and living is great here in Wales. I'm going to have to wrap up really quickly, but just to run through student life, we've got a whole host of students' union. University sport isn't as big as it is in America, but we do have a huge sports scene. You can play at a really high competitive level, and there are opportunities to study abroad, and there's dedicated international student support. So by coming to study in Wales, you are eligible for the National Health Service, universal healthcare, and free prescriptions. So that's it from me, really quick whistle stop tour. I'll just say the bit of Welsh that I do know, diolch yn fawr. So thank you very much. If you've got any questions, please do pop by and speak to me in the next hour. Otherwise, hit me up, my email's there, or follow us on socials. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And we just have a short bit of time for our last institution. So without further ado, welcome Falmouth University.
Great, thank you so much, Vanessa. Hi, everyone. While I am getting out my presentation, I just want to say that I couldn't agree more with Rob. In the last presentation, I studied in Wales for my bachelor's degree, so definitely take a look at Wales if you can. But let me try to get this. Okay, great. So I hope that everyone can see my presentation. But hi, everyone. My name is Jackie Christopher. I'm the development manager for Falmouth University. So if you are looking at creative degrees, Falmouth University is a wonderful option. And just to tell you a bit about who we are, we call ourselves a creative industries university. And the reason for that is we really support our students getting that creative industry experience when they start at Falmouth. So everything that the student gets into at Falmouth, into their creative degree, they gain that industry experience in different opportunities such as placements, projects, and so forth. We were established in 1902 as a School of Art, but we gained university status in 2012. We are a small, medium-sized university with approximately 5,000 students, and students really receive that personalized attention. We have an average of 15 students per class. And we are the second safest university in England and Wales. We have 2 campuses that are 15 to 20 minutes apart, and all students can access facilities on both campuses. Now, Falmouth is regularly voted one of the best places to live in the UK, which I will tell you a little bit about that in a minute. We are based in Cornwall, which is one of the cheapest counties to live in the UK. We have over 150 plus clubs and societies. 12% of our students are international from 52 countries. Average class size, again, is roughly 15 students. And Falmouth University is worth 100 million pounds to Cornwall's economy every year. So, like I was saying about our location, it is an absolutely stunning location in England. We are located right at the foot of the UK in Southwest England in a county called Cornwall. And if you don't know Cornwall, it is a beautiful touristic harbor county. There is surfing, sailing, hiking, and so much more. So if you're an outgoing student, wants to do a lot of outdoor activities, and this is a great location for you. Very picturesque, quintessential British. So Falmouth is located right off the harbor in a beachside town, and it's a beautiful, vibrant student life. There's a lot of activities going on, especially creative activities, since we are a creative university. And the closest airport is Newquay, which is 40 minutes away from Falmouth. We're approximately 5 hours away from London by train, and we do offer an airport collection service for all of our first year international students. So as I was saying earlier, Falmouth is affordable. So just tell you, Cornwall is one of the cheapest counties to live in the UK. Transport and entertainment are affordable. Part-time jobs, because it's a touristic county, there's so many available if you want to stay during the summer. There's many hotels, bars, cafes, restaurants, and attractions. And not sure if you know this, but in the UK, students can work up to 20 hours a week during term time. But during non-term time, if you're staying during the summer, you can work up to 40 hours a week. And the university also employs students on a part-time basis. So cafeteria, cafes, student ambassadors, and so forth. So going into the academics of Falmouth, we have 9 creative departments. So as you can see, it ranges from theater, fashion, games, photography, film, to business. So you can see quite a range of the departments that we have here. And just to kind of give you some snapshots of each individual department. Cornwall Business School, we are the 6th university in the UK for hospitality, events management, and tourism, but we have a lot of student satisfaction awards in specific areas. For our Games Academy, we are #1 in the UK, 2nd in Europe, and 28th in the world. So if you are really into gaming, games art, game design, definitely check out Falmouth. We are one of the largest dedicated game development studio spaces of any UK university, and we are 9th in the UK for graduate prospects for art and design. We also have school communication, which is 5th in the UK for student satisfaction in hospitality, leisure, recreation, and tourism. Fashion and Textile Institute, costume design for film and television, is one of the few undergraduate programs recognized by BAFTA UK as an eligible course for the BAFTA UK scholarship program. So School of Film and Television. So we are one of the 10 COLLECT accredited schools in the UK offering bachelor's degrees. So if you don't know COLLECT, it's a French organization in Cannes, France, and it basically lists, it's an association listing the best film schools in the world. So some of them are NYU, Boston University, they're all listed, and Falmouth is one of the UK universities listed in that organization. And we are also one of the longest film education traditions of any university in the UK. We have been teaching for over 50 years. For our Academy of Music and Theatre Arts, we're 5th in the UK. And Institute of Photography, it's one of Europe's best equipped photography facilities with our multi-million pound photographic center. So as I was saying, oh, sorry.
We're just about out of, you're just about out of time. So if
Oh,
you
okay,
wanna
sorry. I will
share your
just wrap
final
it up.
thoughts.
Thank you so much. Just for our entry requirements, high school transcript, personal statement, but it's really about the portfolio and interview. We do not require SAT, ACTs, nor APs. And you can apply directly via UCAS. My contact information is below. If you have any questions, would love to chat with you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I want to thank all of our presenters so much for sharing their insights about opportunities at their institution. Thank you all, parents and students, for joining us today. As you close out of this session, there's going to be a very quick 5-question survey. We hope you all will take a moment to answer that. Don't forget to attend the additional breakout session right after this. And the recording of this session and others will be available at strivescan.com/ICO. Thank you so much, everyone, and I hope everyone has a terrific evening. Bye-bye.